Welcome to HFY Galactic Stories, original science fiction tales, where humans face impossible odds, and the galaxy pays the price for its ignorance. Listen carefully. This is where legends are born. The abandonment. The twin sons of Thesha made the sky look really pretty with amber and rose colors as High Chancellor Marieva stood on the observation deck of the Grand Council Tower. The people of Thesha had been looking at this view for 3,000 years. They always felt peaceful. The Thesians are a species they like to get along and learn things, and they take good care of their world. The Thesians built their cities with crystal buildings that shine and make little rainbows on the streets when the light hits them. The twin sons of Thesha make everything look beautiful. The gardens of these people were really famous everywhere. They had lots of plants that made soft music when the wind blew on their leaves. The plants in their gardens were so special that they sang melodies when the wind touched them. Today the streets were really quiet. The gardens were not taken care of. Marieva's 3 hearts were beating with a lot of fear. The Crimson Plague came to us 6 months ago. It just showed up out of nowhere with no warning, no mercy. The Crimson Plague started in the city of Vareth, which is on the coast. A ship from the colonies had arrived in Vareth. Soon people began to get sick. The Crimson Plague caused red marks to appear on their skin. These marks spread really fast. The people who got the Crimson Plague had fluid in their lungs. Their organs stopped working one after another. The doctors from Thesha are supposed to be the best in the galaxy. Even they had never seen anything like the Crimson Plague before. The plague was spreading fast. It was going through the air and the water. Even if you just touched something. They tried to keep people separate. That did not work. The doctors tried to help people get better. Nothing seemed to work. More and more people were dying. The plague went from killing hundreds of people to thousands of people to millions of people. Whole cities were empty because everyone was dead. They had to burn the bodies. They could not burn them fast enough. So they dug holes in the country where it was nice and clean and buried a lot of people in them. The plague just kept going and going. Marieva did all that a leader can do. She used everything her people had. She asked the people in Thesha to look at the plague and figure out what to do. She even put in place emergency plans that had not been used in 3,000 years of peace. None of it worked. The Crimson Plague just kept going and going like an animal that is always hungry and can never get enough. Marieva and her people tried to stop the Crimson Plague. It just kept spreading. The Crimson Plague was a problem that Marieva and the people of Thesha did not know how to fix. The Galactic Union was where she turned for help. This is a group of 52 species that work together to make rules for the parts of space where people live. Thesha has been a part of the Galactic Union for 800 years. They are very proud of it. They have always been happy to share what they know with the members. They have also shared the medical things they have discovered, hosted lots of important meetings, and supported what the Galactic Union wants to do. Marieva thought that the Galactic Union would definitely help Thesha when they needed it the most. The Galactic Union has always been important to Thesha. Now Thesha needs the Galactic Union. Her first message went to the Arcanate. The Arcanate is the species in the Union, and they have the best technology. The Arcanate responded in 2 days. They sent a young diplomat to deliver their answer. This diplomat sounded really calm when he spoke. He did not sound happy or sad or anything, just calm. The Arcanate knows that Thesha is having a medical problem. When we looked at it, we found out that the bad thing making people sick is very dangerous and could spread easily. The Arcanate is sorry that we cannot help Thesha directly. We hope that the people of Thesha can figure out what to do during this time. The Arcanate wishes that Thesha finds a way to deal with this emergency. Marieva read the message 3 times. She just could not understand what it was saying. The people who wrote it were saying no to helping. It was really sad because this group of people, the species, had found ways to make people better when they were sick with lots of diseases all over the galaxy, but now they were turning their back on the people of Thesha. Marieva was thinking about the species and how they had helped many people before, so it was hard for her to believe that the species was not going to help the people of Thesha. She sent a lot of messages to the Korvathi Dominion. The Korvathi Dominion is really good at fighting wars. She also sent messages to the Selenar Collective. The scientists at the Selenar Collective know a lot about how living things are made. Then she sent messages to the Praxian Commonwealth. The Praxian Commonwealth has a lot of money that they can use to pay for research projects. The Korvathi Dominion and the Selenar Collective and the Praxian Commonwealth all got messages from her. She asked them for help. She made them promises. She sent message after message to the Korvathi Dominion and the Selenar Collective and the Praxian Commonwealth. The responses were all much the same. They said it was too dangerous. They said it was too risky. They thought the resources would be better spent else. People offered their thoughts and prayers. That was it. No one was going to send any ships. No one was going to send any medicine. The people in need were basically left with no hope. The responses all said the thing. The situation was too dangerous and too risky, and resources were better spent elsewhere, so all they got was thoughts and prayers but no actual help, like ships or medicine, which meant they had no hope. On the 40th day after she first asked for help, the Galactic Union had a big meeting. Mary saw what was happening on a screen that showed her everything, but she was very tired and felt really down. There were people from all 52 species at the meeting in the room at Union Station, and they all looked very different from each other, like the stars in the sky. The session was run by Supreme Arbiter Kelthan of the Arcanate. He is a being made of energy, and he is inside a shell that is like a crystal. Supreme Arbiter Kelthan's voice was really loud in the room because he has been alive for a long time. 5,000 years. That is a lot of time to learn things and get good at making decisions. Supreme Arbiter Kelthan's voice sounded very important when he spoke. "We are here to talk about the problem on Thesha," Kelthan said. "Our scientists have looked at all the information they can find. They all agree on what they found out. The Crimson Plague is a bad disease that can wipe out entire groups of people. It is easy to catch, it always kills you. We do not have any medicine that can stop it. If the Crimson Plague spreads beyond Thesha, the Crimson Plague could be a threat to every species in the Union. That would be very bad, for the Crimson Plague would hurt everyone." People were. They were really scared. Kelthan raised one of his hands to get everyone to be quiet. "The Union Science Council thinks we need to keep the system completely separate from everything else right now. The Theshan system must be totally closed off. No ships are allowed to go into the system. No ships are allowed to come out of the system. We will make a line of defense around the system to make sure people follow the rules. This separation of the system will stay in place until the bad thing that is making people sick has finished its cycle in the Theshan system." Mary felt her heart stop. It would keep going until it was over. The Theshan people would have to be gone. Every single Theshan would have to die. "You cannot do this," she said, her voice coming through the speakers in the room. "We are members of the Union. The Union is very important to us. We have given the Union everything we have to help it. We have shared what we know, the things we have, and we have been friends to the Union. Now we need help from the Union. You are leaving us behind?" Kelthan turned his crystalline form toward the picture of Mariva's face. "High Chancellor, we know you are really upset. The numbers are simple. Thesha has 4 billion people living there. The Union has over 3 trillion people across 52 homeworlds. We cannot put 3 trillion lives in danger to save 4 billion people. The Union and all those people are more important than the people on Thesha. We have to think about the Union and the people who live in the Union, not the people on Thesha. The people who live in the Union are the priority." Mary said this with tears running down her face. "We are not just numbers that you can add up or subtract. We are people. We are mothers and fathers and children. Some of us are scientists, some are artists, and some are farmers. Mary and the people like her, they matter. The lives of Mary and the people like her have value. Mary wants everyone to know that." Kelthan said, "Course they do." He sounded like he was thinking about something already. "The decision is really hard to make. The decision is necessary." Kelthan thought the decision was necessary because of the situation with the decision. The vote was called. There were 52 species and 52 votes. So what was the result? It was pretty clear. 49 species voted in favor of the quarantine. Then there were 3 species that did not vote for or against the quarantine. 0 species voted against the quarantine. The quarantine got a lot of support from the 52 species. The holographic feed stopped. Mary was by herself in the council chamber. The room was really quiet. This silence was hurting her a lot. It was worse than if something heavy was on top of her. They made a decision to let the people of Thesha die. All the other species that they considered friends and worked with looked at the situation and thought that the lives of the people from Thesha did not matter. They thought that the people from Thesha were not important enough to save. The decision was made to let Thesha die. The Union fleet showed up a days later. They had 37 warships that went around Thesha's system. These warships were pointing their weapons in, not out. They were not trying to protect Thesha, they were trying to keep everything. The Union fleet turned on warning beacons around the place. If any ship tried to get in or out of the system, it would be destroyed away. Thesha was like a jail now. The 4 billion people who lived on Thesha were going to die. The plague just kept spreading. It was really cruel. The number of people on Earth went down to 3 billion. Then it went down even more to 2 billion. Some whole continents were completely quiet. The gardens that used to be so full of music and flowers, they all died because the people who took care of them were gone. The cities that were made of crystal were empty, they were like reminders of a civilization that thought the universe was a place. The plague was a problem for the people, and the plague had a big effect on the cities and the gardens and the people. The plague made the gardens that used to sing stop singing. The The plague made the cities that were made of crystal empty. Mary-Eva spent her days in the council tower watching the world of Mary-Eva slowly die. The advisors of Mary-Eva had given up trying to find solutions to the problems of Mary-Eva. The physicians of Mary-Eva had stopped looking for cures to save Mary-Eva. What was the point of trying? Even if the physicians of Mary-Eva found an answer to the problems of Mary-Eva, they did not have the resources to make it happen on an enough scale to save Mary-Eva. They did not have any allies to help them give it to the people of Mary-Eva. The people of Mary-Eva had nothing but time. Even that time was running out for Mary-Eva. On the 90th day of being stuck at home, Mary-Eva's chief scientist, an old man from Thessia named Vorith, came into her room. You could see the crimson plague starting to show on his skin with lines spreading across his arms like they were reaching out to grab him. The crimson plague was taking hold of Vorith. It was a scary thing to see. Mary-Eva's chief scientist Vorith was not looking good. The crimson plague was really affecting him. "High Chancellor," he said in a voice. "The plague is not something that just happened. It was made by someone. Someone created this plague as a weapon a time ago. I have looked at all the information we have. I think it is clear. The plague is too complicated and too good at what it does. Things in nature do not usually work this well. The plague is too perfect at making people sick. Nature does not make things that are this good at killing people. The plague was designed to be an effective weapon. I believe that someone made the plague on purpose." Mary-Eva took in this information without feeling anything. She said, "Does it really matter? Knowing where it came from is not going to save Mary-Eva and the others." "No," Vorith agreed. "I thought you should know this. The thing is, we are not dying because of luck or cosmic chance. We are dying because someone, somewhere made the decision to create the civilization destroyer. This civilization destroyer is what is killing us." Vorith said that someone made this thing that can destroy civilizations like ours. After Vorith left, Mary-Eva stood at the window, looked up at the stars. The stars that had seemed beautiful to Mary-Eva now felt cold and hostile to Mary-Eva. The galaxy had shown Mary-Eva its nature. The galaxy is a place where people think about how they can help others. Only if it helps them too. In the galaxy, people decide if someone is worth helping or not. The strong people in the galaxy do well. The weak people in the galaxy are left to die alone. She was really scared. Her hands were shaking. She wrote one message. She did not think anyone would get back to her. She was not even sure who she was sending this message to. But she had to try. She had to think that somewhere out there, in space, someone might actually care about her message. She just needed to believe that someone there might hear her. "This is High Chancellor Mary-Eva of Thessia. Our world of Thessia is really struggling. The Crimson Plague is a problem for us, and it has already taken the lives of 2 billion of our people from Thessia. I think the Galactic Union has given up on us. If someone there can hear this message, if someone in the galaxy still thinks that helping others is more important than just thinking about what is best for them, then please help the people of Thessia. The people of Thessia are running out of time." She sent the message out into space. Then she waited to see if there would be any response. The message just went out into the void. She waited for silence. She was waiting to find out if the transmission would be met with silence. 3 days later, I finally got an answer. This story starts on a blue planet that is very far away from everything else we know. The planet is called Earth, and it is home to people, humanity. They are the people who joined the Union just 25 years ago. Humanity is what we call them. They are like the kids on the block. People in the Union do not really think about humanity because they are not very advanced. They still use things like chemical rockets and simple technology. Most people in the Union do not really care about humanity. The message was really simple. It was direct. It changed everything about the message and the situation of the message. The message had an impact because the message was simple. "High Chancellor Mary-Eva, I am Admiral James Torres from the United Earth Space Command. We got your call for help. We saw what the Union did to the people of your planet. We do not think this is right. The United Earth Space Command is coming to help the people of your planet. Please give us the coordinates where we can land. Hold on, do not give up. The people of Earth stand with the people of your planet. We stand with you, High Chancellor Mary-Eva." Mary-Eva read the message over and over. She just could not believe what Mary-Eva was seeing. The humans were actually coming. The humans, who are the weakest species in the entire galaxy, were coming to help Mary-Eva when all the really old and powerful species had turned their backs on Mary-Eva. For the time, in months, she felt something that she had almost forgotten. This feeling was hope. She actually felt hope again. The feeling of hope was something that the woman had not felt for a long time. Hope was a feeling that she thought was gone for good. Now she felt hope again. The Earth's reaction was out in the open fast. The Galactic Union was totally shocked and very upset. The Supreme Arbiter Kelthan himself sent a warning to the Earth's government. This was a deal because the Galactic Union does not usually get that angry. The Earth's government was on notice from the Galactic Union and Supreme Arbiter Kelthan. You are really making a mistake. The quarantine should not be broken. If you go ahead with this plan, it will be very bad for the human species. The quarantine is in place for a reason. Breaking it will have severe consequences for humans. The Earth gave a response that was sent out on every channel that the Union used. This meant that every single species was able to hear the Earth's response. We know what could happen to us. We know what you are capable of doing to us. We will not leave people who need our help. That is not what we do. The fleet is going to launch in 6 hours. Thesha, we are on our way to help you. We are coming to Thesha. As Mare Eva watched the human ships appear on the range sensors, tears started to flow down her face. These human ships were really small compared to the warships of the Union fleet. The technology the humans had was very old compared to what the Arcanate had. The number of ships was also very small. It was almost funny. Mare Eva looked at the ships and felt sad because they did not stand a chance against the Union fleet and the Arcanate technology. The bad people were coming. And for the first time since the plague began, Mare Eva believed her people might actually survive. The human fleet came out of hyperspace at the edge of the system. It looked like a bunch of stars falling from the sky. Admiral James Torres was on the bridge of the UESC Defiance. He was looking at the display. 37 Union warships had their weapons pointed at his group of ships right away. He had only brought 12 ships with him to the system. The human fleet had 12 vessels. The Union had a lot more. The numbers were not good for the fleet. Admiral James Torres and the human fleet were in a spot. The human fleet was up against the military powers in the galaxy. But mathematics had never been humanity's strong suit anyway. The Admiral is being called by the Union blockade commander, said Lieutenant Chin from the communication station. This is a deal because it is Supreme Arbiter Kelthan who is calling the Admiral. Lieutenant Chin told the Admiral that Supreme Arbiter Kelthan himself wants to talk to the Admiral. Put him through, Torres. He straightened his uniform. Torres was a man with iron gray hair and eyes that had seen a lot of battles. He was 62 years old. Torres had fought in the Mars Rebellion and the Titan conflicts and the war with the pirates when they first made contact with humanity. The Mars Rebellion and the Titan conflicts and the war with the pirates had been a lot to handle. Torres had never backed down from a fight in his life. He was not going to start now with the Zafrani pirates or anyone else. Torres was ready for whatever was coming his way. Kelthan's crystalline form showed up on the screen and it was glowing with a really angry red light. Admiral Torres, you are doing something that is not allowed by the Galactic Union rules. They have a quarantine in place. You are not supposed to be there. You need to turn your ships right now and go back to the space that belongs to Earth. Kelthan's message was clear. This is your warning, so you have to listen to what Kelthan is saying. The message from Kelthan was serious. It said that Admiral Torres and the fleet must leave the area and return to Earth space just like Kelthan told them to do. Torres put his hands behind his back. Looked straight at Kelthan. Supreme Arbiter, I am speaking to you with respect, Torres said. We did not travel all this way to go back now. The people of Thesha are. Torres has the way to help the people of Thesha. Torres and his team want to help the people of Thesha. That is what Torres plans to do. Kelthan told them that they could not help the people who were sick. He said this in a voice that showed he did not think much of them. The Crimson Plague was too much for the doctors in the Union. They could not find a way to stop it. Kelthan said that the simple ways of science that they used on Earth would not work. The advanced civilizations that they knew had already failed. If they tried to help, they would only make things worse for people on Earth. The Crimson Plague would spread to Earth if they carried it back with them. The Crimson Plague would be the reason that people on Earth got sick. Kelthan was saying that the Crimson Plague was too powerful for them to stop. We might not make it, Torres said. This plague could be too much for us. We have to give it a shot. Being human is about trying. We do not give up on people just because it is hard to save them. We have to try to save them because that is what people do. The plague is a problem, but we have to deal with it. We have to try and save people from this plague. Kelthan told them that they were kids playing with things they did not know about. He said, I am telling you this one time. You need to leave this system now. If you do not leave this system immediately, the spaceships will start shooting at you. Torres felt his jaw get tight. He had really hoped things would not go this far. He was ready for anything that might happen. Supreme Arbiter, before you decide, I want to make sure you know something. This conversation is being shown live on Earth to every country, city and house. The people watching this are not a few. There are 4 billion humans watching Torres and the Supreme Arbiter right now. People are waiting to see what the Galactic Union will do. The Galactic Union is supposed to be an example of a civilized and enlightened place. Will the Galactic Union really hurt doctors and scientists who came to help people who are sick and dying from the Galactic Union? The Galactic Union is being watched to see if it will actually harm these doctors and scientists who were trying to help the people of the Galactic Union. He stopped talking for a moment so that people could think about what he said. You have the power to destroy us. Your guns and ships are a lot better than ours. You could blow our ships to pieces in a few seconds. You would have to do it while billions of people are watching. The Arcanate would have to explain to the galaxy why they killed people who were just trying to be kind. Is that really what the Arcanate wants to be remembered for? The Arcanate would have to live with that decision. The bridge of the Defiance was really quiet. Everyone was looking at the view screen waiting to see what Kelthon would say. The being made of crystal was changing colors. It was red, orange, then yellow. This was a sign that Kelthon was struggling with what to do. The Defiance crew was waiting for Kelthon's response. The crystal being was still changing colors, showing that Kelthon was still thinking. Kelthon finally said something and his voice was really cold. You can go to Thesha now. Admiral Torres, you need to understand this. If the Crimson Plague shows up, else even just one case, and it is because of something you did, the Union is going to blame Earth. The whole human species will suffer because of your actions. That would be really bad. The Crimson Plague is a deal, and if it spreads, that is, on you, Admiral Torres, and the Union will make Earth pay for it. The transmission ended. Torres let out a breath that he had been holding without realizing it. He felt relieved that it was finally over. The transmission was done. Torres was glad that he could finally breathe again. The transmission had really gotten to him. The man said to all the ships, go to Thesha. He told the teams to get ready to go right away. We have come away to Thesha, he said. All ships, we do not want to waste any time on Thesha. The human fleet went through the Union blockade. Went towards the dying world below. When they got close to Thesha, Torres saw how bad the plague had been. The human fleet was going to the dying world of Thesha. Entire continents of Thesha were dark, where cities of Thesha should have been shining with light. The orbital stations of Thesha were empty and floating around. The planet of Thesha that he had seen in pictures now looked like a big grave. The human fleet was still moving towards the dying world of Thesha. The Admiral is being told that we are getting the landing details from High Chancellor Mary Eva. Lieutenant Chin said that. High Chancellor Mary Eva wants to meet the Admiral in person when we get to the ground. She needs the Admiral to say it is okay first. Torres said that it would be a privilege for her, and he really meant it, so he told her that it would be an honor for the lady. The Defiance and its sister medical ship, the UESC Mercy, went down through the atmosphere of Thesha. Landed in the main plaza of the capital city. The Defiance and the UESC Mercy were now on the ground. The other 10 ships stayed up in orbit around Thesha, making sure they were safe and watching out for any problems from the Union. The landing ramp went down. Torres saw Thesha for the first time. Thesha was a beautiful place, even though it was falling apart. There were towers made of crystal that went up high into the air. These towers still shone in the light of the two suns, even though they were covered in dust. The streets were empty. There were no people walking around. It was completely quiet. There were no noises, all. Just a lot of silence and empty space. Torres saw all of this. It was a pretty sad sight. The city of Thesha was so still. A small group of Thesians were waiting at the base of the ramp. The Thesians were really tall. They had slender bodies. They had blue skin and their eyes were very large and expressive. The leader of the Thesians stepped forward. Torres knew who this Thesian was. It was High Chancellor Mary Eva from the transmissions they received. High Chancellor Mary Eva looked very exhausted. Her body was thin and frail. Her eyes still had a spark of desperate hope in them. The eyes of High Chancellor Mary Eva showed that she was hopeful. Admiral Torres, she said, her voice was really quiet. You came to see me. Admiral Torres, I am so glad you actually came. Torres walked down the ramp. Stood in front of her. He had thought about what to say to her times on the way here, but now that he was actually standing in front of her, everything he had planned to say seemed like not enough. So he just told her the truth about what he was thinking and feeling. Torres wanted to be honest with her. High Chancellor, we just could not stand by. Do nothing while your people were dying. We had to do something because we were able to help them. The thing is, humanity has been in a tough spot before. We were close to disappearing forever. We know how terrible it feels to be all alone with no one to turn to. We are not going to let that happen to the High Chancellor and your people. Mariva's eyes got all teary. The Union told me that you people are not very advanced. They said the things you have are not good enough, that you cannot really help us with our problems. The Union says a lot of things, Torres said with a smile on his face. We have learned that we do not need to pay attention to everything the Union says. Behind him, the Mercy's cargo bay doors opened up. The medical team started coming out. The medical teams were all wearing suits to keep them safe, and they had a lot of equipment with them. This equipment did not look as advanced as the technology the Union had. It was exactly what the medical teams needed for this particular job. Dr. Sarah Chen was in charge of the teams. She is the person on Earth when it comes to studying animals and plants from other planets. Torres had chosen Dr. Sarah Chen to be in charge of the teams for this mission. The Mercy's medical teams were lucky to have Dr. Sarah Chen with them. Dr. Chen went up to Mary Eva, took off her helmet. This was a deal because it meant Dr. Chen really trusted Mary Eva. The people from Thesha who were watching could not believe what they were seeing. They actually gasped. Mary Eva was not a woman. She was probably in her 40s. Her eyes were sharp and smart-looking. Her hands, they just kept moving all the time. Dr. Chen and Mary Eva were now standing there with Mariva's helmet off. "Hi, Chancellor," she said quickly. "I am Dr. Sarah Chen. I need to see all the information you have on the Crimson Plague right now. This includes the records of the patients, the reports from the autopsies, and the genetic analyses. I want everything you have on the Crimson Plague. My team has been looking at the information we were able to get while we were traveling, but we need more information on the Crimson Plague if we are going to find a way to cure the Crimson Plague." "A cure?" one of the officials said. You could really hear the doubt in his voice. "Our best doctors have been working on this for months now. The Union's top scientists already told us it is not going to happen." Dr. Chen looked at him with a serious face. "I did not come all the way across the galaxy to hear about things that cannot be done. I came here to do what needs to be done. Now are you going to help me save the people, or are you going to waste Dr. Chen's time telling Dr. Chen why Dr. Chen cannot do it?" The official said sorry and quickly started giving Torres the information he needed. Torres looked at Dr. Chen, felt a mix of admiration and amusement. Dr. Chen was known for being tough, wanting things done right, and really smart. Dr. Chen had also agreed to go on this mission to help Thesha quickly, even though she knew she might not be able to go back home to her family and friends on Thesha. Torres thought about Thesha and how Dr. Chen was working hard to help Thesha. The human medical teams did not stop working for 3 days. They made hospitals and empty buildings. The human medical teams took samples from Thesians who were sick with the plague. They looked at the plague closely. They were very interested in finding out what it was. Dr. Chen did not sleep much. She drank a lot of coffee. She was determined to find out what was going on with the plague. The human medical teams and Dr. Chen worked hard to learn about the plague. Torres spent those days talking to Earth Command and keeping an eye on the Union fleet. The ships of Kelthan had not moved. They were definitely watching the humans. They were waiting for something to happen. The Union fleet was ready to strike if the humans failed to do what they were supposed to do. The Union fleet was just waiting for the moment to attack. On the day Dr. Chen rushed into Torres' temporary command center. She looked really tired but very excited. Her eyes were wide with excitement and exhaustion. Dr. Chen was clearly very worked up about something. She had been working non-stop. It showed on her face. Torres' temporary command center was where Dr. Chen had to be now. She said that they found it. They actually found the key. The key is what they were looking for. They found the key. That is really something. Torres jumped up away. "Do you really have a cure for this thing?" "We do not have it yet. We know what makes the plague tick." Vorith was on the money. The plague is an advanced bioweapon. It was made to go after things in our genes that a lot of space-traveling species have in common. Here is the important part. She brought up a display that showed really complicated genetic sequences. Humans are different. Our genes evolved in a different way. The plague cannot tell that we are a match to make it spread. The plague cannot recognize humans as viable hosts. The plague just does not see humans as a good host for it to spread. Torres figured it out. That is why you took off your helmet. You knew you were not going to get hurt because you are immune to it. You already knew that you were immune. Dr. Chen said, "I thought so," and then he corrected himself. "Yes, we know for sure now. The Crimson Plague is not able to infect humans. This is a plus for us. We can look at the Crimson Plague closely, we can change it, and we can take it apart in ways that other species cannot do because it is not safe for them. We have a chance to study the Crimson Plague and learn more about it." Torres asked how long it will take to find a cure for this thing. He wanted to know when the doctors will have a cure. Torres was really asking when they will finally have a cure. Dr. Chen's face turned serious. "That is the problem we are dealing with. We know how to get rid of the plague. Making enough of the cure for all the people of Thesians would take a long time, maybe months or even years. We do not have that time to waste on the plague. The plague is what we need to focus on. We need to find a way to make the cure for all the Thesians faster." Torres felt his hope go away. He said, "So the plan did not work out? Or, so we did not succeed?" But what he really meant was, so Torres and the people with Torres failed. Torres felt really bad because Torres and the people with Torres did not do what they wanted to do. Torres said, "So we failed, and that was a sad thing for Torres to say. I did not say that, Dr. Chin said with a smile on his face. The cure is what we really need to make. The thing is, humans are not very good at doing things the usual way. We have to think of something to make the cure fast enough because the usual way is just too slow for the cure. Dr. Chin thinks that humans have never been very good at following the rules, so we have to do something different to make the cure. She told him what she wanted to do, and with each word Torres' eyes got bigger and bigger. This plan was crazy. It was really dangerous. It went against a lot of union rules and probably some basic rules of the world too. It was perfectly human. Torres told them to do it. He said they could do whatever they needed to do and that they had his permission to do so. Torres gave them his authorization to do it. Dr. Chin went back to her laboratory. Then Torres opened a line to Earth Command. She asked for emergency supplies and people to help. What Dr. Chin was trying to do needed things that the current fleet did not have. Dr. Chin was trying something and the fleet just did not have what Dr. Chin needed. The people on Earth got back to us quickly. We were going to send 3 spaceships right away, and these spaceships would have the special equipment that Dr. Chin needed. The spaceships would get here in 5 days. Until the spaceships arrived with the equipment, the medical teams would do everything they could to keep the infected Thessians alive so they could get the treatment they needed from Dr. Chin and the medical teams. The news of progress was spreading really fast all over Thessia. This was the time in a long time that the people of Thessia had something to be happy about. They came out of their homes, started going to the hospitals that the humans had set up. The people of Thessia wanted to help the humans in any way they could. They volunteered to do all sorts of things. The streets of Thessia were empty for a time, but now they were filled with people again. The human progress in Thessia was bringing life back to the streets. People of Thessia were going to the human field hospitals, and the human progress was giving them hope. The Union was keeping an eye on things. They did not like what they saw. The Union was not happy about it. On the day the supply ships from Earth were getting close to the system. Then Supreme Arbiter Kelthon sent another message. This time you could see that he was really mad. His body, which was like a crystal, was shaking with anger that he could hardly control. Supreme Arbiter Kelthon was so furious that you could feel it. Admiral Torres, we can see that you are adding ships to the quarantine zone. Our information says that you are trying to find a way to cure the Crimson Plague. This is not okay. You are dealing with things that you do not know much about. The Crimson Plague is a problem and you should not be trying to fix it on your own. You need to stop all of your experiments right now and get ready to leave Thessia. The Crimson Plague is too dangerous for you to be playing with. You must stop what you are doing. Prepare to evacuate Thessia immediately. Torres had been expecting this to happen. Supreme Arbiter, with respect, the answer is no. You really think you can say no to the Galactic Union when they tell you to do something? The Galactic Union gives you an order and you just refuse it? I do not think you have the right to say that an entire group of people should die, Torres said, his voice very firm. You gave up on the Thessians. You thought they were not important enough to save. They are important to us. The Thessians are people. We want to help them. We are going to save the Thessians because they matter to us. Kelthon said you cannot save them. The plague is really bad. It will kill a lot of people. If you try to save them, you will only make things worse. You will spread the plague to planets and maybe even to Earth. Kelthon thinks that would be very dangerous. The plague is too advanced and too deadly, Kelthon said. You will not be able to stop it. Torres said, we are completely safe from the Crimson Plague. The Crimson Plague is not able to infect beings. Dr. Chin has checked this. She's sure about it. So we can deal with the Crimson Plague directly. We do not have to worry about getting sick from the Crimson Plague. There was a pause. When Kelthon spoke again, his voice sounded different. It had a note of something that Torres had not heard before in Kelthon's voice. Uncertainty. That is just not going to happen. The plague was made to hurt all living things that are made of carbon, like the plague was designed to target all carbon-based life forms, and that means everything that's alive and made of carbon is in trouble. Torres felt a chill run down his spine. He said, you said it was designed. Supreme Arbiter, it seems like you know more about this plague than you have told us far. The plague, it sounds like you have some information about the plague that you have not shared with us. What do you know about the plague, Supreme Arbiter? There was another pause. It was even longer this time. The Crimson Plague is an old weapon that was made a very long time ago, over 10,000 years ago during the Precursor Wars. The Crimson Plague was supposed to be the way to stop anyone from causing trouble in the galaxy. It was a disease that could kill off any species that was a threat to the galaxy being stable. The Crimson Plague was meant to be gotten rid of when the Precursor Wars were. We do not know how the Crimson Plague showed up again on Thessia. Torres said this to someone. He was really upset. You knew what was going on, he told them. You knew people on Thessia were sick because of something that was done on purpose. Thesha asked for help. You knew it was not a natural sickness. You still left them to deal with the artificial plague by themselves. You abandoned Thesha when they needed help. Kelthon said, we did the math and it is clear that the plague has no cure that we know of. If we send people to help they will probably get sick too. So the best thing to do is keep the plague from spreading to places. That is why we chose to keep it contained. Torres said this again, the choice. It is clear that he does not like this idea. He thinks that people are using logic as an excuse for being afraid. Torres believes that people are letting fear decide what they do of being kind and caring. He thinks that compassion should be the reason for making decisions, not fear, when it comes to the choice. Torres is upset that people are hiding behind the idea of the choice. What will your kindness do when the plague changes and starts making humans sick? Kelthon asked. What will you say to your people when you bring an end to life on Earth? Torres said, we will tell them the truth. We tried to save lives. We did not just stand by, watch them die. We chose to be brave. We did not play it safe. The species we refused to become the kind of human species that thinks about how much compassion is worth and decides it is not worth it. Torres said that is what we will tell them. The truth is that we chose to be brave and we tried to save lives. We are the species and we will tell them that we did what we thought was right. Torres said we will tell them the truth about the species. He leaned forward. His voice got really quiet. If things go badly, if we actually bring the plague to Earth, then at least we will die knowing we were fighting for something than ourselves. Can you say that, Supreme Arbiter? When your people are finally gone, what will they be remembered for? Having a lot of technology? Being good at math? Will they be known as the group that saw a lot of people being killed and did not do anything to stop it? The plague is a deal and we have to think about what we are doing. We have to consider what people will think of us later. Asterisk, we are talking about the plague and what it can do to Earth. Asterisk, we are talking about what people will remember us for. Asterisk, we are talking about what's right and what is wrong. Supreme Arbiter, the plague is a problem and we have to deal with it. We have to think about what we're fighting for. We have to think about what we will be remembered for. Will we be remembered as people who stood up for what's right, or will we be remembered as people who did nothing? Kelthon did not say anything back. The message from Kelthon just stopped all of a sudden. The supply ships got to us 2 days later. Then Dr. Chen's plan was really happening. What Dr. Chen had come up with was really different. She wanted to use the way Earth fights off things as a guide. Dr. Chen would make an antibody that could be made in large amounts using technology from Theshan and human genetic engineering together. This was combining two different ways of doing medicine. The Theshan organic technology and human genetic engineering should not have worked together. Dr. Chen's plan was to make it work. It really did happen. It did. 15 days after the first human ship landed on Thesha, Dr. Chen stood before a crowd of Theshan and human personnel. He held up a vial of pale blue liquid. The human ship had been on Thesha for a while now, and Dr. Chen was showing the people of Thesha and the human personnel something. He was holding the vial of pale blue liquid from the human ship. The crowd of Theshan and human personnel looked at Dr. Chen and the small vial of blue liquid. This is it, she said. Her voice is really rough from being so tired. It sounds like she is really happy. The cure for the Crimson Plague is what she has found. She has been working on the cure for the Crimson Plague. The room was filled with cheers. The Theshans were hugging the humans. The scientists were crying out in the open. Even Admiral Torres, who was standing at the back of the room, felt tears up in his eyes. The cure started being given out away. Human medical teams and Theshan medical teams worked together to give the cure to every person who was infected that they could find. It worked well. People who got the treatment started to get better within hours. The red marks on their skin went away. Their lungs got clear again. The Theshan medical teams and human medical teams kept working to make sure the cure was given to everyone who needed it. The people who were sick started to heal, their organs started to get better. News of the cure spread fast all over Thesha. People who had been hiding came out, took their sick family members to the hospitals that were run by humans. The medicine that could cure the sickness was made in every place that had the ability to make it. Lots of blue medicine was sent all over the planet, and it helped to stop the plague that had seemed like it could not be stopped. The plague was something that people had thought would never go away. The medicine changed that. The people of Thesha were very happy that the plague was finally going away. The Crimson Plague started to go after 3 weeks. It took 5 weeks to get rid of the Crimson Plague. The Crimson Plague was. Thesha was safe now. The people of Thesha were finally able to stop worrying about the Crimson Plague. The final count was really shocking. The original number of Theshans was 4,001,800,000,000 Theshans had made it through. This means that more than half of the Theshans did not survive. Even though it seemed like all the Theshans would disappear, this did not happen, and the Theshans were saved from disappearing forever. High Chancellor Meriva stood with Admiral Torres on the balcony of the restored council tower looking out at the city. The city was slowly coming back to life. You could see lights in the windows again. People were walking down the streets of the city. The singing gardens of the city were being replanted with flowers and trees. High Chancellor Meriva and Admiral Torres were happy to see the city like this. Meriva said this quietly. We will never be able to pay back what you did for us. You gave the people of our town back their future. The future of our children and our families is something that we thought was lost. You gave us that back. We are very grateful to you for giving us our future back. Torres said, we did not do it so we could get something back. We did it because it was the thing to do. The Union will not forgive this, Meriva said. They will be very angry with Earth because Earth did not do what the Union wanted. The Union will punish Earth for disobeying the Union. Torres smiled a little. It was not a happy smile. Let them try to do something, he said. They will find out that people are not afraid easily. Humanity is not going to scare no matter what they do to humanity. It was like his words made something happen because a new message came on after. This message was sent to every channel that the Union used so every type of alien in the galaxy would definitely hear the message from the Union. Supreme Arbiter Kelthan showed up. His body made of crystal was glowing with a pale blue color that looked really sad and beaten. Supreme Arbiter Kelthan's crystal body was pulsing with this blue color that seemed to show he was defeated. The Galactic Union says that the problem with Theshan is now solved. The Galactic Union is lifting the quarantine. We want to say congratulations to humanity for what they did with the crisis. The Galactic Union is happy that humanity was able to achieve this. The message from Torres was short and to the point. It did not have any tone that you would expect from this kind of news. Torres was not worried about being friendly. Torres was worried about getting things done. Torres wanted to see results from the transmission. Kelthan went on, and now his voice sounded like he really thought something was cool. The Union Science Council looked at the information from humans and they want to learn more about what they are doing. They think the things that Dr. Sarah Chin has come up with might be useful for big medical problems all around the galaxy. The Union Science Council wants to study the methods of humans, and they think Dr. Sarah Chen's techniques are really important for other medical emergencies in the galaxy. Torres looked over at Dr. Chin, who was standing there. Dr. Chin just shrugged her shoulders. Torres was waiting to see what Dr. Chin would do next. Dr. Chin did not seem to know what to do. She said to tell them that they can study whatever they want. They just have to remember who the person was that figured out the information first. This person is very important to the study of the subject, the study that they want to do. In the weeks that followed, something big changed in the galaxy. Humanity showed that they are not another simple species trying to find their way through the stars. They showed a lot of courage. They were very clever. They were able to care about others in a way that made the old powers of the Union feel bad. Humanity had really proven themselves. This was very clear to the Union and to humanity. The smaller species, who had always been in the shadow of the civilization, started to see Earth in a new light. They wanted to make deals with Earth to trade things. People from Earth and the smaller species began to learn about each other's ways of life. The smaller species and Earth also talked about working to protect themselves, but they kept these talks quiet. The Galactic Union was in a spot. The humans, those new people who made decisions based on how they felt and who would not listen to reason, had altered the way things were done. The Galactic Union had to deal with the fact that the humans were not going to follow the rules. The humans and their emotional way of thinking had changed everything for the Galactic Union. The people of Thesha, they were a civilization that was left to die. Then Thesha became a very strong ally to humanity. What happened was that the bad things that occurred during the Crimson Plague actually brought people together. The relationship between humanity and Thesha was very strong. It lasted for a very long time. This was because people were kind to each other, and that was more important than thinking about what would be good for them. The Crimson Plague was a thing, but it showed that when people care about each other, they can do great things. Thesha and humanity were an example of this. Admiral Torres went back to Earth. Everyone thought she was a hero. Dr. Chin got all the science awards that you can get on the planet. The people who worked on the Defiance and the Mercy were famous over the place where humans live in space. The real victory was not about all the praise and awards we got. It was about what humanity was saying to the galaxy. Humanity was saying, humanity is here. Humanity stands with people who need humanity. Humanity will not leave people behind. The galaxy had left them all alone to die. Humanity had stepped in and said, we are with you. Humanity was not going to give up on them. Humanity was going to stand by them and help them through this time. The galaxy may have abandoned them. Humanity was there to offer support and comfort, and humanity was saying, we are with you. And in the end, that made all the difference.